Dein Chrome. Mit mehr Leistung. Wähle den Browser gemacht für Geschwindigkeit.
Yo, yo, yo. Hey everyone. Okay. Hey everyone. Let's start a little bit. First of all, let's check. I wanted to play a bit of my music while we're streaming so that you can have some other sources of information besides me talking. So I'm gonna play it. And can you please let me know how's the balance between the sound of my mic and the sound of the music? Is it too loud? Or is it okay? Hey, Techno666, the stream is gonna be in English. Probably have noticed it by now. Karkozov music is a little bit quieter. Okay, thank you very much for this. Let's try something like -30 dB. Is it better now? Yeah, I don't know for why, but for me the official documentation of TouchDesigner, so if I say wiki TouchDesigner, doesn't load since some time now. Like on Friday it was not, no, on Wednesday it was not working for me, or like at least very slow, but thankfully we have offline documentation, so I think that should be fine. Yeah, so let's begin, and we begin with talking a bit about what are we doing today. So what are we doing at all, first of all? So this is, let me switch to full mode for now, full screen. So this is a new series of live stream and the associated GitHub repository called TouchDesigner T&E, which stands for TouchDesigner Techniques and Examples. And the idea for this was that I've been looking at a lot of tutorials and a lot of materials that are available, and the community does a great job of doing this, which is really nice. I really like it, and I'm part of this community. I'm a part of people who make these tutorials and share some work with community. And so I was thinking that, you know, we have op snippets, and that's a really nice tool which lets you quickly look at what certain node does and see it in a context. On the other hand, we have something like toxes, right? That people share. And toxes, it's something that people build for their project, and then they're like, oh, you know what, it's cool, we can reuse it, so let me just post it and share it, and then other people can benefit from it. And that's nice, but sometimes what happens with these toxes, the problem with these toxes is that they are very custom to the specific problem that the person was solving on their project, right? At the same time, all of us have usually very custom projects. Otherwise, we probably would not need TouchDesign in the first place, right? And so usually you cannot just use these toxes right away. You have to modify them, and then it's hard to understand what's going on because the tox is already like a build. It's not a tutorial, right? It was built for one thing, and some people might not care too much about like commenting stuff and giving names to variables and stuff like this, like good names. So I thought would be nice to have something that would be in the middle. Not to say, that toxes are bad and people should not share them, of course not. Toxes are very cool and people should share them. But I was thinking that would be nice to have something that would be in between, so like not super low level, just here's the node and here what it does, like op snippet. On the other hand, not super high level where like, hey, this is like a projector manager tox, so you can just slap it in your project and it will be ready to use. So this would be something that will sit in between, like a starting points for your projects, right? For your components. So today we've been working on 3 things. So we will set up a GitHub repository, which is already half set up. We need to finish it. Second thing, I will like super quickly show you how I set up my code editor, which is NeoVim, by the way. And third, we're gonna actually start working on the first component, on the first technique, which would be the video crossfader. And the video crossfader would be something that you can use in sort of like the VJ video player type setup. And this is something that I'm gonna spend next probably few video streams talking about. And so the streams, I'm kind of just doing it for fun, so I hope I would be able to do it like every Sunday, maybe every second Sunday or something like this, but I hope to be consistent about it, which is not my big strength. But we'll try to keep it somewhat consistent. And then why live streams at all? Why live coding? Because people say that a lot of like live coding sucks, it's boring to watch, like you have 3 hours of person reading through the documentation. I watched live coding streams from time to time, especially when I was learning new languages, because what's really cool about it is that you're not only presented with the final product, here's the tutorial, press this button, do this, go there, and here you go. For newcomers, it might be a bit too overwhelming to understand like how did we get from nothing to this, even though of course it has some like, we will have in our tutorials usually some like points how you get from A to B, but still there's a lot of, when I for example watch like live coding stream, I see a lot of like very small things here and there that I can pick up. Oh wow, look, he typed this and he then directly did that for him, so like some small things here and there that really enrich your arsenal of tools and techniques. So I thought it makes sense to make it as a live stream. Plus I just love to be on camera. I just love to do things live and do some kind of like workshops, live streams, classes and so on. So yeah. And before that, my channel was largely in Russian, and now I'm switching to English because I moved to Berlin. So I live in Germany for 5 years now, and I plan to continue doing so. And so now I really want to address the larger audience, the international audience. So that's why I'm going to be doing all my content from now on in English. That's just a quick introduction for those of you who don't know me, because as I said, mostly was somewhat famous in Russian speaking parts of TouchDesigner community. My name is Denis. I have almost 15 years of working as a professional full-time TouchDesigner developer. I was starting in the company called Sila Sveta. It's a big, already by now, international company. They were first very big on the projection mapping scene, but now they kind of diversified their creative efforts, and now they do everything, like very big scale projects. Then I moved, when I moved to Germany, I moved because I got offered a position at White Void. It's also like a creative agency that does installations and stuff like, permanent installation, events, stuff like this. Now I'm working as a professional full-time C++ developer because I just wanted to see how it is to be like a professional software developer, but still I'm spending a lot of my time in TouchDesigner world, and yeah. So that's it. Let's just dive in and start building stuff, shall we? So I have 3 windows open. One is my browser with the documentation and stuff. Second one is, and already everything broken. I don't know, TouchDesigner is the second one, should be third one, but okay. And so that's TouchDesigner. And the third one is my, my console. Let me know, I enlarged it, I made the font a bit bigger for those of you who are watching from the phone or from the tablet. I think it should be enough, but let me know if you want me to zoom it more. Yeah, so we're starting with a bit of organizing work for the repository. So I'm just gonna jump into the console, and we're gonna see what we have currently. So currently we have git ignore that just ignores the virtual environment of TouchDesigner, of Python. Then we have a pywrite config, and then we have just a test.py, which is this file on the left here. It's just something that I use to test whether or not my autocomplete works, and whether or not TouchDesigner specific classes are seen by my code editor. So we're gonna push, I think I'm just, so I'm gonna delete test.py, we don't need it anymore for now. I'm gonna talk a bit about virtual environment and pywrite config file a bit later, but for now we're just gonna organize GitHub repositories. So we have this, we don't have a Git repo yet, so we're gonna create one, say git init, initialized empty Git repository, and then we're gonna say GST, which is short for Git status. I mean, I'm gonna use without any fancy shortcuts for now, so you can follow. Git status, we have this, and I'm looking and I'm seeing that virtual environment is about to be committed, and I'm like, why? I included it in my git ignore, but now I see that I have a typo. I typed git ignore, so I'm just gonna do mv git ignore to actually .git ignore. So now we don't anymore have this virtual environment directory to commit. That's good. So we say git add a, say git commit m, and then the comment would be initial commit. And then we're gonna add a README file here. So we're gonna say touch readme.md. I'm gonna open it here, README, and we're gonna say, for now we're just gonna say TouchDesigner Techniques and examples. Okay. And for some reason my autosave doesn't work. Weird. Okay, so we're gonna say git, I'm just gonna use shortcuts, git add all, git commit message, edit readme. Okay, now let's push it onto the repo. Repo should be here. TouchDesigner Techniques. No. Repositories. This one. So I already set up the repo, but I haven't committed yet. So what I need to do is I need to execute this. Oops, sorry. Okay, so now if we refresh this, this should be ready to use. Yes, TouchDesigner Techniques and Examples. Initial commit, pirate config, edit, readme. Okay, cool. So the repo is live. You can already check it out. Pull it. And yeah, so now, first of all, first thing that I wanted to work on, actually, which I completely forgot to mention now that I think about it, is the font and console is okay. Thank you very much for that. I wanted to do some meta work. And by meta work, I mean I want to create a small component that will help me create sort of like tutorial kind of navigations for the project that I'm going to be building here. And you're going to see what I mean by that in a couple of minutes when I'm start building it. So for now, I'm just going to create directory, call it src. Then src is usually, I mean, it's not, it doesn't have to be like that, but usually src is the directory, stands for sources, where you put all your source code in, right? So I'm gonna create it and I'm gonna make another directory in here. And I'm gonna call it meta. Then I'm gonna cd into meta, and for now I'm not gonna create any more subdirectories here because I think it's will be a bit of an over-engineering for now, but I'm gonna start working in this directory, and I'm gonna create I'm gonna start working on my patch now. So I have a new TouchDesigner project. I'm gonna delete all of it, and I'm gonna save it as dev. Let me actually do it like this: dev TouchDesigner src meta, and I'm gonna call it I don't know, quick navigation. Save. Okay, cool. And then, so the idea is this: when you open a project, so I'm creating a technique, or that's going to be a project, like for example with this crossfader that we will create today. What I don't want you to do is you open the project and then you're like free to do whatever you want. You're free to go wherever you want, and then you will be immediately lost because like, okay, I see there's the three bases. Should I go in the first one first and the second one, or like what's the order? So I want you to be able to kind of like navigate through the project as if it was like a tutorial. So I want to create this like interactive navigator kind of component. And I'm just gonna keep it simple for now. What it's gonna be something like this. Look, so it's gonna be just a base, and the base will have. Okay, so this will have parameters window. Page, sorry. And then on this page, we're gonna have a couple of toggles. One will say next. One will say previous. One will say restart. Let me think. Say previous first, next second, restart third. and then add and delete. Maybe. I don't know yet. I'm just improvising. I will probably keep on changing this. For now, we'll say section. Yeah. So the idea is I want to do something like this. Look, I'm gonna split my screen here. I'm gonna do text ports and that's, and let's see. There is a UI class here, and in the UI class we have a pane class and the network editor class. So what I want to do is here there is this method home, and the home can optionally let you choose an operator that you want to use, and that means that when you call this function with this operator, it will center the screen on this operator. So for example, if we say, let me see the usage. Yeah, so we should say UI panes and project home. UI panes. Okay, so P equals UI panes dot zero, 0, which means that would be the left pane because it was created first. So it would be like in the list of panels would be the 0th panel, right? Then if we say, what else should we say there? Yeah, now we should say O for operator equals OP and then full path to the operator, project 1 / base 1. So I'm gonna zoom out, base 1, right? Okay, and then if I say O dot, not O, but I say P dot home, OP equals O. Yeah, you see? Now I'm centered. So the idea for this meta component is something like to be able to say, to be able to add a bunch of like focal points, right? And then throughout this throughout this list of focal points, you can just navigate by pressing previous, next, and then restart will take you to the very first one. So you can have the network that is fully functional, but you can navigate this network as if it was a tutorial. So this is how we're gonna do it. And the thing is, I believe that if we have an operator, so for example, if we have here another operator, like let's say table 1. So if we want to do the same thing with the table that, if we now say O2 equals OP project 1 base 1 / table 1, right? O2, yes. So now if I say, if I want to do the same and I want to say p.home op equals O2, it would not work. And the reason why it would not work, because it cannot change we need to explicitly command it to first change the path of the current pane. And if I remember correctly, you do it by saying p.owner equals O. Yeah, so now we're here, and now we can navigate within this path, project 1 base 1. So we're gonna have to keep it in mind, because I'm not sure that everything that I'm gonna be doing will live on the same flat level, you know, because some things might be buried deep in some subcomponents and stuff like this. So I should be able for this thing to navigate no matter where the node is located. Yeah, so we're gonna call this base our quick nav component, short for quick navigation. And now let me think. So I will start by creating an extension for it. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact, how do you do it exactly? Then just here we can say quick nav ext add. And now we're going to externalize this file. I'm going to save it. Under src meta quick nav, and we're going to say here just new folder scripts. Some people call it Python, some people call it scripts. I'll call it scripts. And yeah, .py. So now we can select this file, open, and we can say sync to file. What it means is that every time I will change this file and save it on disk, TouchDesign will automatically reload this content of this file, and then it will recook the node that contains it, quick nav. So it will apply the changes on the fly, so to say. So now if we go, oops, sorry, if we go here, I'm gonna make it smaller so we can have more real estate here. If I say quick nav, oops, sorry, not toe, quick nav ext. So let's check if it works. Hello world. I'm not sure why my autosave doesn't work. Yeah, you see, hello world is here. So as soon as I save the file, TouchDesigner picks it up and everything is good to go. So we're gonna start by deleting all of that stuff. We don't need it. I'm gonna delete this stuff as we don't need it too. For now, we're just gonna say pass. It's in TouchDesigner. It creates it creates a tabs by using. I think in TouchDesigner they create tab by using it like a tab character, and in my code editor tab is 4 spaces, and Python doesn't like it because technically it's different characters, so it says like you cannot use inconsistent use of indentation. So now since we're back into my code editor, let me just tell you a few words about how I set up the autocomplete, because you see here, if now I say, for example, O equals OP movie 1, for example, I don't know, it doesn't matter, as type, movie file in top, you see all the autocomplete works. And this works. How did I make it work? I'm on Mac. On Windows it was a bit different. For some reason it was simpler. Because also, yeah, the official documentation currently only tells you how to set it up for VS Code, which is just about choosing the right interpreter for TouchDesigner. And that's it, and from there it works. And of course having the plugin for the autocomplete. Here on NeoVim it was a bit different for me. It was like this. I had to create, so let me go back. I had to create what's called a virtual environment, and I had to give it a path to the TouchDesigner version that I'm gonna be using, right? That is shipped with TouchDesigner. So you do it by saying, you first specify the path to the Python, right? So in my case, this is application, TouchDesigner app, contents, framework, Python framework, versions 3.11, bin Python 3.11. So this is a path to the executable of Python that ships with TouchDesigner. So now you say -m venv, V-E-N-V, to create a virtual environment, and then you create a virtual environment by then you give a name to the virtual environment that you want to create. And typically the convention is to use this like .venv. So I already have it, so I will create another one, the .venv test. So it copies a bunch of files and creates like some symlinks and stuff like this. So now we have, if you look at it, we have this .venv test, and you activate the virtual environment by doing this. You say source, at least on Mac. On Windows it's a bit different, but you can Google, it's easy. Source.venv, then bin activate, and then you execute this command, and now you can see that I'm in the virtual environment. So now, if I say Python here, you will see that it opens Python 3.11.10, 3.11 - dirty blah blah blah. So in this environment, it now thinks that the Python that I'm referring to is the TouchDesigner Python, not the system Python. So I'm just going to quit from here, and I'm going to remove the virtual environment that we created, kind of test, because we don't need it. So that was the one piece of puzzle. I think what it's important for is to be able to resolve, like technically you wouldn't see a difference if I disable this virtual environment and just use the normal Python, which I have version 3.14. You wouldn't see a difference in my code editor, but I think it's important because probably in my code editor it will, like imagine there's some new feature that is, or some old feature that is deprecated in 3.14, but it's not in 3.11. It will then incorrectly give me a deprecation warning for this feature because it wouldn't exist anymore or about to be deleted in 3.14. But I'm actually using 3.11, so I want to see diagnostic as if from version 3.11, and particular this TouchDesigner version. So that's one piece of a puzzle. And the second piece of the puzzle is about making making my code editor see all the library of TouchDesigner stuff. And that I did by creating this file that is called pywrite config.json, because I'm using pywrite as my LSP server, as my autocomplete engine and stuff like this. And in this pywrite config.json, what I've added, I'm still not sure if it's a hack or not, or it's supposed to be like that, but for me it worked. So default path for the virtual environment is dot, which means this folder from where we started. The name is .venv, and then extra path. That's the most important part. It tells me, it tells you like, hey, are there any extra paths besides what we have by default, which would be the current folder, that you want me to look at when I'm trying to find some imports and to resolve some names and some class names. And I said, yes, I want you to include basically this applications, TouchDesigner app, contents, framework, Python framework, versions 3.11, lib, Python 3.11 site packages. This is where TDI module live. And TDI is the module that provides you all this like movie file in stuff, movie file out top, you know, S-type. I think it will be happy if I do OPEX, yeah. Stuff like this, you know, so this is how I made it work for NeoVim. I haven't used it too much yet. I just made sure that it kind of works. So we'll see today how it behaves. Probably we'll run into some annoying small things here and there because it's always the case with NeoVim. But for now seems to be doing the job. So now is the good time to add our current state of affairs. So we say git add all, git commit message, and we'll say started working on quick nav component. And we push it. Okay. So now let's get back here. The TD storage we don't need. TD functions, I don't even know what that is. It's been a while, to be honest, since I like did something in TouchDesigner like semi-professionally. I was toying with some pops when they came out. Yeah, so I might be a little bit rusty currently, but should be all good. I wonder if we say that self owner comp is of type TD base. No, sorry, should be without TD base comp. Yeah. And then we'll say self dot owner comp equals owner comp. Type annotation for attribute. Oops, sorry. Oh no. It's probably not needed or something like this. Self owner comp of type base comp. Yep. Okay, so that's just to be able to reference ourselves within our code later on. We don't need pass anymore. Yeah, because I don't have my autosave, doesn't see the changes, so now it picked them up. So now, let's see. What I want to do, I want to be able to select a node and click add. And at this point, it will add it to the list of the nodes that we are able to choose from. So we would say that here we would have all the operators. So let's say self, the name would be something like nav ops, and don't like this name, but it's okay. It would be a list of type of operators. And for now it would be empty. Variable not allowed in type. OP. Not sure if it's correct. So there will be a list of TouchDesigner operators. They can be any type, right? It can be like, I would plan to use it mostly for annotation comp, but annotate comp, I think it's called, but doesn't matter for now. And the music stopped playing. Let me quickly take it for one more spin. Yeah, let me know if the music is okay again, but I think I haven't changed the loudness, so it should be fine. So now I need to figure out how can we get the current selection. So how can we reference the operator that is currently selected in the viewport? Probably again something to do with the UI class. Home selected, home all selected operator in a network. Yeah, that's true actually, because we can have multiple selection, right? We can have multiple nodes being selected. And how do we deal with that? Show list, show background, network editor class, pane class, a unique maximize name, bottom left, top right, open, type, change type, close, splitter away. Okay, so pane network. Let's try to Google it. TouchDesigner get current selection. How do I return the current selected green OP in Python? The thing is, you can have more than one current child, as every comp node can have one. To get assumed current one, use UI panes current owner current child. Crazy to me that current child Google doesn't turn up the comp class page. Yeah, each component can have only current node green one. Comp current child can have multiple selected nodes. So when you hit delete, it depends what current pane is and the network being. Okay, so when I select multiple nodes, only one would be in green and the other one would be in yellow, and the current selection will always return the one that is green, if I understand that correctly. So let me try TCP/IP. Yeah. Okay. So then I should look at the comp class, if I understood it correctly. Let's see. Comp class. What do you mean your file could not be accessed? The hell? Let me see. Help, offline help. And it's open. Comp class. I don't know why it doesn't work like this. Python class reference, comp connector class, chop class, comp class. Extension clones, 30, blah, 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 selected children. The list of currently selected children. To change an individual operation selection state, use it op selected method. List ops. If I understand this correctly, that at least we can use this, but referencing the very first item in this list should always return us the green one, if we're lucky. So if we say op project 1 selected children, gives us nothing. Maybe, wait a second. Okay, what if I try this? Project 1, quick nav. Aha. Okay, why it didn't give me, it's weird, selected children. Because quick nav, this component is a children of project 1 and it's selected. Oops, sorry. Ah, okay. So it was highlighted, but I guess it was not selected because it's the only node, and by default TouchDesigner always highlights it in green or something like this. Okay, so now we have this working. And now if I click this and I say this, quick nav, transpose. I wonder what's the logic here. So, oops, maybe not the best selection of node. Let me just say select. Let me say file in. So if I select all of it, file in 1, select 1, quick nav, QOT. Okay, it's probably sorting it alphabetically. That's what happens. And that's not good. I need the owner operator. Current child returns you the operator that is the current child of an operator. So if you want to edit the parameter of the UI is currently selected. Operator UI panel's current owner, current child par foo val. A current child and selected children. Wait, I'm using selected children. And I need to use current child, I guess. Current child. Yes, nice. So let me try it again. I have select 1 now selected. Yes, super. So, what we're gonna do now the question is, how do I click on this button without selecting the quick nav first? Maybe if I open the parameter of these nodes, say parameters of the quick nav. Would it work like this? Okay, so now when I click the add, I want to say OP project 1 current child, OP project 1 current child. Okay, you know what? Just to keep it short, I'm just gonna keep it simple for now. We're not gonna deal with finding what to put in here. We're gonna assume that everything would be on the flat level, so you can always have only everything being here on the same level of depth, just for now. So I'm gonna try this. Let's say let's actually use more realistic example. So I want to use annotate. Annotate. So this is comment 1. Then I'm gonna copy paste it, put it somewhere here. This is gonna be comment 2, and this thing we're gonna put somewhere over here. We're gonna say comment 3. Okay, so what I want to do now is, whenever I have this selected and I press add, it will add it to the list here of the operators selected. So now I'm gonna say def on add. I'm just gonna flash out the API real quick. So on add, on remove. Do I have remove? Let's see. Yes, I have. On delete. On delete. And then I have def on previous. Self as def on next self pass and def on restart self pass. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to say on add, we want to take self. So we're gonna say the current op is of type OP equals to self owner comp self owner comp dot parent, which will give us project one, right? Because the project one would be a parent of this of us. It's a bit hacky, but for now it's good. Parent, and then we say current child. Right? And then we're gonna print, let's say print current op. Let's see. I need to save it. And what I need to do here is I need to quickly add a parameter listener. So parameter execute. This is to be able to bind our button presses to the function calls in our extension. So for now it's only on polls we care about. We don't care about built-in parameters. We care about custom parameters, and we say parameters, I think any, and then the name is me.parent. Okay, so let's say here on polls, let's first see what happens if we just say bar. Parameters. Am I doing something wrong? Let me see. If I say, for example, previous. Why doesn't work? On polls. Chat, does anyone know why it doesn't work? So on polls is selected, and on polls function I want to print a parameter. Which op should I listen to? It's this one. Man, don't tell me it's this about this thing being bugged. So no. Custom parameters. Maybe this expects not the name of parameter but something else. Yeah, I don't know why, but the documentation on the derivative site just doesn't load for me at all since Wednesday. Maybe they're having some problems with the server or something like this, but it just doesn't work. Okay, what can I do about it? Operators. That's parameter execute. Sweet 16. I don't want sweet 16 operators. Operators. That's say panel execute, for example. What if I say here parameter yes. Okay, so from operator parameters, specify which parameters to monitor for triggering scripts. Specify how? As a name or as a what? Oh man. No one remembers how to do it, I guess. Let me think. Print parameter. This doesn't work. The hell, I forgot something really simple. I'm pretty sure. Is there an op snippet for it? Yeah, it just says the name of the... So look on the value change. Maybe I need to look on the value change of this operator. But that's weird. Okay, I say previous. And let me try here. Print. Okay. Value change. So this works, but pulse doesn't work because it's a type. The type is different, or what? Customize parent component. Previous is momentary. Well, the momentary is, I think that's the right type, right? Pulse. What's the difference between pulse and momentary? Okay. Yeah, I should have named this stream like watch a guy that haven't touched touch in a couple of years, trying to remember how it was done before. But I'll get back to it. So print par, let me try on pulse of the previous, true, par is true. Okay, par, name, previous. Okay, so now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do just like small, simple if else thingy. We'll say, I know that there's been a match thing in Python as of lately, but I haven't tried it yet. Just gonna keep it simple for now. Say if par name equals previous, actually previous, pass elif par dot name equals next, pass elif par dot name equals restart, pass elif var dot name equals add, pass elif var name equals delete, pass. Okay, so now gonna say target equals me parent me parent. Let's check if it works, because I don't quite remember if it would work like this, but so the extension should be promoted. Let's try. So now if I say here, for example, on previous, say print previous called, and we save it, and then here I would say op project one quick nav on previous called. Okay, yeah, so that works. So now here in my script I can say something like target on previous, target on next, target on restart, target on add, target on delete. Okay, let's see, previous called. Okay, yeah, that works. Cool. By the way, let's save our project, because we haven't done so yet. Okay, so now we need to start working on the business logic itself, right? So we're not gonna touch these ones for now. We're just gonna do on add. So current op equals self owner comp parent current child, and we're just gonna print it. Let's see if it works. So I'm choosing this and I'm pressing add. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. But why nothing happens? Because it at least should print some error, right? we have here add. Ah, right now, because we're listening to only this parameter. I think this should work, right? Yes. Yeah, project one quick nav, then project one annotate one. Nice. So it does what I wanted to do. Project one annotate two. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to add it. We want to add it to the list, right? So every time, let's just print f added this guy up to the list of nav points. This would be current OP. And this will say nav points. Okay, so now we're gonna say self.nav points append current op. Okay, argument type is partially known. That's fine. And then we're gonna do, okay, I'm not gonna bother with delete for now. So what happens on restart, we should always go to number 0. If, I'm just gonna say if if self nav points length size. There's no size, right, in Python. If len self nav points equals 0. Maybe there is an empty call. Return. So this is just to not generate any errors if we try to press on restart, on next, or on previous while we don't have anything. Right? Now, if we do have something, then on restart should always bring us to the very first thing in the list. And how were we doing it? I forgot already. We need to say it was with the panes. So we need to create here a pane variable, self main pane. This would be pane. And that would be our UI panes 0. UI.panes 0. What? Why are you not happy about it? UI panes 0. And now, on restart, should give us self main pane dot home, and we're gonna home on self nav, what the hell, nav points of 0. And we need to say here op equals like this. Let's see if it works. So I'm gonna add this annotate, added project 1 annotate 1 to the list of nav points. Okay, so now if I go to annotate to comment 2 and I say restart, yay, it works. Nice. There was another argument, I think. If we go to Python class reference, if we go to, where's the panes? Network editor class, home, zoom equals true. Let's say, let's add it here. Zoom equals true. So let's say again add, because you know every time we save the file it recooks the quick navigation. When the quick navigation recooks, it initializes itself again, and then it basically clears the list of nav points, because here we say whenever this is initialized, nav points is an empty list, so it gets cleared basically. Now I'm gonna add this guy, and then I'm gonna go somewhere, some random place, and I'm gonna say restart. Nice. That works. Or I can, like, just to see if the zoom is working. Restart. Yes. Nice. Okay, so we're getting somewhere, and the previous next, let's work on them. The previous and next. So now we would have to introduce some kind of state into our thing. So we're gonna say self current selection, current point, let's say, as we're talking, referring to this as navigation points, will be a type of integer, and it will be equals 0. Right? So this is where we at right now. So here on restart, we will say self.currentPoint equals 0. Then on next, we will first increment No, we need to first check if the value is, when we click next, we don't want to go over the limit of the number of things that we currently have, right? So we're gonna say here that self if, we're gonna first introduce a variable here, because we would need num points to be integer, and it would be equal this, this, right? Then we'll say, we can delete then this guys, num points should be num points. Okay, if num points equals 0, return. Then what I want to do is I want to say if num points, if current point cannot be bigger actually, but let's just say, or equal, it would be actually self current point num points, Then in this case, we need to say that self current point should be 0. So we need to start over, right? Else self current point plus equals 1. So we're just adding and to take the next operator, right? And then we're saying here, this thing. But instead of giving it a 0, we're saying self current point. Okay? Man, these errors are really annoying because they are not errors actually. It's just, I think it's either me being not very smart about this thing and maybe doing something that is expected to be done somewhat differently, or it's just TDI library is not mature enough to catch all this like small things here and there. In any case, so we have this. On previous should be the same. I mean, I wouldn't bother with optimizing the code. I can see that it's currently very like naive, but for now it should be fine. Say if num points, and then here if num points, return. Okay, then if self current point smaller or equals 0, which is also like it cannot be less than 0, but in any case, then self current point equals num points minus 1. Otherwise, it equals minus equal 1. And then here we'll also say self current point. Yes. Okay, on restart, on add, on delete doesn't work right now, but it's fine. So let's just save it and let's try it out. So add, annotate 1 added, annotate 2 added, annotate 3 added. Gonna restart, gonna say next, next, previous, 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 next, next, next. Oh, look, when I press next again, it says next, 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 and then error. So, on next, if self current point greater or equal to num points, yeah. But what on previous self current point less or equal to 0, then it equals num points minus 1. Yeah, but here it should be, if it's already greater, it should be 0. Okay. Wait, so I press 0, I press next. Num point should be totally 3, right? Because this is the length of, we have 3 elements. It checks 0, return, that doesn't work. Then if it checks self current point is at this point 0, is it greater than 3 or equal to 3? No. Okay, then it gives you 1. But it shouldn't give you 1. It should first wait, I think this should happen before, right? Because we need to go to number 0. Because this will give you 1. Okay, in any case, that's fine for now. I will fix it all off stream, but just one. Interestingly enough, this thing works, but the other one doesn't. Interesting. Okay. So this is our. What's nice about it is that we don't rely on the coordinates of the node, so we can freely move them. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it as is, and I'm gonna yes, so I've saved it, and I'm gonna create a little to-do list. So we're gonna go here, we're gonna go to std src meta. We're gonna touch readme.md. Component that helps you navigate projects in a tutorial-like fashion. Okay. To do. Organize the code in the extension better. Fix the bug with next going over available number of elements in the list. Okay. The next one, what I wanted to do is add current counter on the params in form of so that the user can see how many chapters are left in the current tutorial, and handle various depth level of children gracefully. So because right now we only can, it only works because the thing is called project one, I believe. And then at least what is currently doesn't work at all is just we can only navigate within one single single panel. We cannot go between panels up and down, so to say. So that for sure we need to fix or add. I mean, it's not broken. So let's just save everything. And yeah, let's at this point commit our work. So modified quicknav tow, script quicknav ext.py, untracked file backup, quick test py. Why test py is again back? What is in it? Cut test py. Yeah, okay, so this we don't need anymore. Then what I want to do is I want to go to I want to add a rule to all our git ignores. So I'll say let's just do nano git ignore. I want to say that I want to ignore any backup folders, right? So it's not there anymore. And I also want to ignore all this like .to.tow. So what I want to say, at least let me do it like this. I'm gonna go to the src meta and I will create a git ignore here, and I will put quick nav.start.tow. So it will ignore this pattern, something with dot, then any character, and then again dot, and then tow. So this should get rid. Yeah, so this will only give us quicknav.tow, right? Then gonna cd out of here, gst, and we're gonna add everything, and we're gonna commit and say first draft version of quick nav component is ready. Push it. And I remember that I forgot to add one thing here, is to implement delete function. And then just as a bonus, see if we can use match expression in our bar execute that. Oops. Message update to do git push. Okay, so this this works now. We can sort of kind of use it, and now we can start working on the crossfader parameter. So let me add another thing here. Go meta, src meta. We're gonna say here mkdir release. Release is normally, again, it's like not, it's just a convention. You don't have to do it like this, but release is usually where you put your like final product, you know. So in our case, release would be somewhere where we would put the tox file. So we're gonna put we're gonna take this quick nav, we're gonna save it as component tox, and we're gonna put it in our release. Let me think about something real quick. You know what? I'm gonna just quickly add something before we do this, because it will make it easier for us to track it later on. So I'm gonna add another page, about maybe misc, maybe something like this. For now, about. No, let's just call it misc. Add page. And here I will add a read-only text version, just for us to be able to track it. And so I say that the default value for now would be 1.00. We're going to use the semantic versioning. We're going to say that it's read-only. Okay? Okay. So I'm going to save the project, and now we're going to save the tox. So I'm going to here release quicknav tox, save. Okay, that's done. Let's see, let's commit it. GST should be release and quicknav. Yes, git add all, git commit message. Edit resulting tox. Git push. Okay, so now you, from this point on, you can drag and drop it into your project. Should somewhat work. I mean, it's version. It maybe was a bit ambitious of me to call it 100 because it should be like 001. But whatever. So now we can move on. We can move on to the next thing, but I need a quick break. So let me just, for those of you who will join in the meantime, I will create this thing that will say, I'll be back in 3 minutes. And then I'm gonna put here time 12:35 CEST, which is local Berlin time where I'm at right now. And I'm going to give it a resolution of 512. 1024. Okay. So see you in 3 minutes, guys. Hey everyone, I'm back. So now we can delete this node. We don't need to save the changes because everything's saved. So now we can get on to the second part, to the second project, sorry, that we're going to be building today, and this will be actually a technique. So this is going to be a video crossfader, and let's start building it, and I will walk you through what it does. So to do this, start with it, I'm gonna first go back to src and I'm gonna make dir, and this will be under like video playback examples, right? So we're gonna say maybe something like video playback. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, should be good. And then we're gonna go there and we're gonna create here, first of all, we're gonna create here a readme file, and then we're gonna create here a gitignore file. I already know that in my gitignore I want to have something like crossfader.tow. Backup I don't need to gitignore because backup is ignored globally for the entire project, not just for this folder, so that's fine. Now, and I again made the same mistake of calling it gitignore. Okay, and so now let's jump into the readme. Various techniques and examples demonstrating related to video playback in TouchDesigner. Okay, and then here's gonna be crossfader, and then there's gonna be a description, right? So description goes description to be added. Okay, now we need to create a new project. So now I'm gonna say file, new. We don't want to save because there's nothing to save anymore. So this is some garbage that I accidentally pressed some screenshots. Okay, so we're gonna save it as src video playback. I'm gonna save it as crossfader.tow. Okay. Now let's start building this thing. So first, what we're gonna have is let's create like a 5, I guess, movie file in tops. So I have one. The only thing that is a bit not perfect is that they don't have the I cannot rely basically on external movies, because I will then have to ship them together with my project, and that will blow up the size of the Git repository and stuff like this. So I have to use the ones that they have built in here, and the problem with them is that they are quite, it's hard to tell if something changing or not. They're not very dynamic. Why didn't it like this? Okay. So this will be 3, this will be 4, and this will be 5. Oh my god, what did I do? Group name. Open group list. Okay, so this would be number 4. This will be number 5. All right. So previously, what I see, imagine that this is our like a very beginning of our like video playback system, like a VJ system, right? Because that's something that in real TouchDesigner projects happens a lot. You need to have some kind of like video playback, right? The client gave you a bunch of content that you need to play. Maybe it's a like projection mapping thing, or maybe you are doing like a, I don't know, like visuals, like audio-visual live, where you also have some like pre-recorded content or stuff like this. You want to trigger it more like, it can work, it doesn't have to be a video file. It's in this particular case, it's a video file, but this technique can work for non-video files, can work for generative scenes as well. But for simplicity's sake, we'll just keep it with the video files here. So what I saw people doing and what I did myself when I was just starting out with TouchDesigner was something like this. There is a switch, and switch lets you switch between multiple inputs, right? So we can connect it like this, and then we want to be able to like gradually crossfade between one video and another. And you can do it by having this blend between inputs selected, right? And then if you go, so like if it's deselected, if you go from 1 to 0, you have like this hard cut, right? Between videos. And if you enable this, you will have instead like a nice smooth transition from one to another. That's what we want to have. We don't want to have like hard cuts. And so what I did in the beginning and what I saw people doing, it's a bit funny and it's it's a bit painful to say that it was like this, but it was like this, is that that's literally what we did. And then in some projects we were lucky enough where the sequence of the movies that we have to show would always go from 0 to the last one, never like jumping between random clips. So that would kind of work. You could kind of like say, okay, next one just gives me 1, next one just gives me 2, next one just gives me 3, and like that it works. And then during the rehearsal you will have this like very painful moments when you will have to rewind, and it will look something like this, you know, it will just go quickly. And the client would be like, hey, what was that? And you're like, don't worry, it wouldn't happen in the real thing, it's just for the rehearsal. And they will be, are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Okay. So that's how we did it back in the day when we didn't know better. But there's actually a much better technique, the one that I'm going to show you today. So in the heart, we will still play with this index thingy together with blend between inputs. But the important thing is that we can only blend between 2 inputs. But then the question comes, how? Because this works, you know, we can crossfade between those 2, but what it means that we only have connected to 2 nodes, right? And we need more nodes. And if you thinking that we're just gonna play with some Python's parameter that will disconnect and connect nodes on the fly, that's absolutely not what we're gonna do. And I very much discourage you to be doing some kind of like procedural reconnection of the nodes, because it's really kind of like a bad practice to do it. So instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use something that is called select. It's a very simple node that lets you select any top that you pointed to. So we're gonna wire it in like this, and then it will always choose just between those two selects. So it always have to go from 0 to 1 and from 1 to 0. Never have to go to 2 to 3, because there's only 2 indexes, right? Only 2 selects. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna dynamically change the selection. So currently we have this one, and we're able to navigate between them like so. Right? So now what we need to add a couple of nodes. So first we're gonna add a button, just for simplicity's sake. You know, it doesn't have to, technically doesn't have to be a button, but with button, what's nice is that you can just call click method on it, and it will give you this. Then what we're gonna connect it to, we're gonna connect it to count. And the count, again, is just gonna give us a simple loop behavior. So every time we click a button, it just gives a 0 or 1. Like this. There's different methods, of course, how you can do it. You can do it with logic, chop, and stuff like this, but this doesn't matter, to be honest, too much. So now we will connect it with null, and now we will wire it in, and let's just name our things. So this would be crossfade trigger, this would be crossfade current deck, crossfade out, not out technically, but okay. We're gonna name this deck A. And this we're gonna name deck B. Now we need to wire this into here. Now it works, but of course it's missing the crossfade part. So we need to add one more. We need to add here a filter. And we'll say it crossfade filter. So now we can do like this. So now this works, right? So this is the part about the crossfader that works. Let me just see if I can do this. Yeah. So there's a small like micro optimization really in here that you can say that this should cook only when the values are changing, you know, because otherwise it will always cook because the filter is always cooking. But we don't need it to cook always. We just need it to cook once when the values are changing. Okay. So now this part is done. Now we just need to create a bunch of scripts that gonna operate on this thing, right? Because we need to dynamically change this names here. So for that, what we're gonna do is let me think quickly. Yeah, I'm just thinking because there's a million ways how we can approach it, but I think the most straightforward one would be just to have a bunch of buttons and like a simple UI. So look, I'm gonna create a button. All our movies are 16 by 9, so I'm gonna say that width equals, let's say, 50, and the height is equals to me par width times, divided by 9. Sorry, times is it wait, is it the other way around? Yes. So this will keep us always the aspect ratio of the button correct, so that we can show the right thing. And then we will say that here we will have a select. And we're gonna have just a null. And null will be called out. And select will select the node. That select will be selecting op movie. Let's make it into f string. Movie file in me parent digits. Okay, so what I did here, actually I wanted to check something real quick. Let me check this. Will this work too? If I say like this, and then I will say me parent digits. You should say 0. No, okay. I need to look it up. Maybe I should put it inside the f string itself. Okay, so what I did here is that me parents digits would always give us the last number here, right? So it would be 1. And I know that button 1 is basically corresponds to movie file in 1. The button 2 would correspond to movie file in 2, etc. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna say, let's not put any text here. And we're gonna say that this thing, children, should look at, background top should look at out. We cannot see it because this thing obscures it. So we're gonna give it a transparency. Let's say 0.2 maybe. So now the button should not be toggled. The button should be momentary, like this. And let's make it a bit more, a bit less transparent, like 0.4 maybe. Like that, we have this, right? So now we have button 1 that is connected to movie file in 1. We're just gonna create 4 more buttons, button 2, button 3, button 4, button 5. You see they are all automatically were connected, so we don't need to worry about that part. Click this, click this, click this, click this. Okay. Now I'm just gonna quickly add them to a container so we can have some kind of like a quick UI thing going. Okay. I'm just gonna say children, left to right. And then I'm gonna say this thing is like this. Let me give it a background so I can see clearly what's going on. So the children should be centered vertically and horizontally, and the thing itself can be a bit smaller, 350. And then we're gonna say that the spacing of the children should be 10 pixels, let's say, just because I like round numbers. Okay, so now we can view this thing. It looks like this. We have our thumbnails. So now we just need to add a couple of scripts to execute some stuff when this happens. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a merge top, because I don't want to have an individual script for every button, because imagine we then have 100 buttons. We will have to copy paste 100 scripts, and that will be not good. What we can do instead is we can do something like this. We can merge them all together. We can either leave it like this, or we can, for example, we can shuffle them. We can say sequence all channels. So now, let me have this thing opened. So when I click, the corresponding value goes up. So now what I can do is now I can go to chop execute. Sorry, it will be that, of course. And now I can say I don't care about the value change, I care about off to on. And in off to on, it will give me a sample index which I can use. So if I say print sample index, and I say split this thing, show me text ports and that's. You see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay, but the thing is that our movies and everything starts enumerating from 1, not from 0. So we'll have to add a 1 to this. So let me open it here. I will, just for simplicity's sake, we'll just delete all of that stuff. We don't need it. We don't need this thing. Just gonna keep it on off to on. Delete all of this. I'm gonna create a new function that will be called getClip, and provided an index, it will take an index and it will return a movie file in top, and it will return op project 1. I mean, no, let's not do project 1. I don't want to do absolute path. I want to do relative path. So it will return again f string of movie file in, movie file in of index plus 1, because we need to convert index from 0-based indexing to 1-based indexing. So this is what we will get. And now we're just gonna print get clip of sample index. Let's see if it works. movie file in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice, that works. Okay, but of course we want to do something, not just the printing part. What we want to do instead, we want to say dec A equals op dec A, and dec B equals op dec B. Then we want to say let's just even, you know, it's a, we'll need another function actually. Let's create it. We'll get free dec. It's gonna take null parameters and it's gonna return us select top. And so now here we need to say that we have two decks and we need to somehow be able to tell which deck is now free and which deck is now showing the content. How do we know this? Well, we know this by saying that, okay, if this thing shows us 0 right now, then it means that we're looking at deck A, and it means that the deck B is currently free, right? Then otherwise, deck A is free. So what we're saying here is we can say current crossfader position equals, and it will be an integer, it's equals to op, it's actually in, we need to convert it to integer to discard all the possible floating point values. So it would be op crossfade out 0, so 0 channel, 0 sample. And let's just test it. Print current, just print this thing. Okay, and then here we will call get free deck. Okay, 0, 0, 0, 0. Now I'm going to press the button. 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, I'm thinking that maybe it's not correct to listen to this thing because it will be filtered out, right? So if we click and it's in the middle of transition from 0 to 1, this will tell us that 0 is now free. Well, that's right, I think. Let's just check it, because I think we might in the end be actually need to listen to this one without any filtering. Pretty sure, but let's just see. So what I want to do now, let me just pause all the videos so the play is off. So clip to play equals get clip of sample index, right? That would give us an operator that we want to play. Then we want to say clip to play, we want to restart it. So we need to first say par q pulse dot pulse to kind of like click it, and then we need to say clip to play par dot play val equals true. Okay. Now we need to say free deck equals get free deck return current crossfader position. And this we don't need anymore. So free deck equals get free deck and free deck par top, I believe, equals clip to play. Okay, let's see if it works. Par top, nothing changes. Ah, yeah, right, nothing changes here because we haven't wired yet the triggering of the crossfade button, but I wonder why the names of the movies don't change, because I think it should be replacing them here. So let's see. So let's print clip to play. We're getting an error. So integer object doesn't have. Why? Wait a second. Why this thing returns me print clip to play and then return, just to not bother with all these errors. Yeah, that's correct. That's what I want to see. Let's, sorry, let me just quickly play my music one more time. I'm sorry, I don't want to purchase my own music. The time has come. No. Okay, just gonna listen some previous album then. Whee! Okay, let me know please if it's okay in terms of the sound. I think I need to make it a bit quieter. Maybe like this should be fine. Okay, so this works, and then this should work, pretty sure. Ah, sure, because get free deck should not return the current crossfade position, it should return the operator. It should say if current cross, I'm actually mixing styles here a bit. Current crossfader position, but then it we don't only care about this. We use it to resolve it to the correct deck. If current crossfader position equals 0, return deck A, right? Because if, no, then return deck B, because if we're currently showing 0, then means deck A is active and deck B is free. So when we want to return deck B. Otherwise, we can say else return deck A. Okay, so now that should hopefully work. See? Yes, we file in 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. Now, what we want to do is we also, every time we do this, we want to trigger the crossfade action. So we want to say op crossfade trigger click, I believe. Yes, so now it crossfades. Let me do it like this. Maybe even like this. I will go behind probably, no? You see? That works. However, there's one problem with it. The problem with it is that the movies, well, first of all, there's this glitch that just happened. Yeah, this shouldn't be like that, should fix it. The second problem is that the movies that are not currently being shown in either deck A or deck B, they're still being played, because nothing in this logic stops them from doing so, right? So we need to add this part. We need to say, let's get, we add a couple more functions. Get I'm gonna call this get clip to play. And we're gonna say get playing clip. So what this function will do, it will take an index of the deck, which would be 0 for deck A and 1 for deck B, and it will return us which movie file in top is actually playing right now. So boom. So now just copy paste this thing. Okay. If index equals 0, return deck A var top eval. We need eval because we need not just the text of this, but we need the actual operator that it references. Else return deck B var top eval. Okay. Let's check it. Let's say print get playing clip of deck 0. movie file in 4, movie file in 1, movie file in 1, movie file in 1, movie file in 1, movie file in 2. Okay, yeah, that seemed to be working. So now what we want to do, I'll actually yeah, that's not the right place to do it, actually, not this script. What should happen, when the transition is finished, this actually should call to stop. So we need to say here chop execute. Right? And then the channel is okay, we can just say this. Off to on, I think doesn't work, because off to on will click as soon as will happen as soon as we leave 0. So from as soon as we start transitioning and would be 0.1, it will already trigger off to on. So that's not good enough for us. What we need to do instead is we want to have, well, let's call it actually, let's call this guy on clip pressed. And this guy we call on transition finished. No, on transition done. On clip launch. Okay, so on transition done, here's what should happen. We want to react to value change, that's right. So I'm gonna just remove all of this stuff, we don't need it. Don't need this one too. First of all, we want to take let's see if it works like this. If val equals 0.0, print done 0. If val equals 1.0, print done. It's a bit, yeah, sometimes it's not very straightforward how the computer compares floating values, but let's just see. So click this button, done 1, done 0, done 1, done 0. Okay, seems to be working. The reason why we need to wait for it is because, of course, we need to wait until the clip is completely off screen, and only at that point we can press stop on it, right? So we're gonna say here we need to copy paste. Later we will move it, or maybe it will be like a separate thing, or maybe we'll do it as an enhancement like version of this thing, but of course we need to move it to extension because yeah, because many reasons really. We will say get free deck. Yeah, okay. We're just gonna say like this. Deck equals OP deck 1. It's not even deck 1, it's deck A. Deck equals OP deck B. Not sure if it's gonna work like this actually, because we have all those values in between, and then what should happen? Okay, let's just, to keep it simple, we just say like this. So, if value is equal 0, it means we went all the way to deck A. It means that we are safe to turn off deck B now, right? So we would say deck, yeah, that would be deck B. We'll say deck par top eval the clip equals, and then we'll say clip par play val equals false. And then here, hi to everyone in the chat, by the way. I see that people are writing in the chat. I have this like weird thing that the chat, as long as I click away from the OBS Studio, which I use to cast this, the chat disappears. And then when I click OBS to be active again, the chat appears, which is a bit annoying. So I don't have it like in front of me all the time. But let me just say hi to everyone. Hi to Alexei Ris, hi to Senku, hi to MMO Ways, hi to Salaziats. Everyone, hi and welcome. I guess you've been here a while. Okay, so then we'll just copy this thing. In this case, it would be deck A. Okay, so now let's see. Oh, I should do it like this. Actually, I should do it like this. So now I clicked on this, we transferred to this thing, that thing plays, and this thing stopped. Okay, cool. So now I'm gonna click on this, it will put it here, and then when the transition is finished, this thing will stop playing. Yeah, nice. So this works, and we're almost done. Let's rename this button maybe, just to say crossfade. The only thing that is still not finished is there was this like small bug. So do this. As long as we don't press anything mid-transition, everything seems to look fine. But if we, yeah, there's certain conditions when you can do this. And this happens because I think in this script where we click this stuff, we should not rely on the value of the crossfade because it can give us some uncertain values in the middle of transition. So what we should do instead, let me try to do this. Let me try and say that here we should not listen to crossfade out, but we should instead be listening to crossfade current deck. It works better, but there's still like some small occasional glitch if you just like start playing. But this we need to think a little bit, like what actually should happen if you in the middle of transition and you're changing the clip in your active, in one of the things that you are looking at right now. Maybe it's actually an expected behavior that it will jump, because like what else can be, what else can happen, right? It's something should jump because you're switching the movie that you're looking at right now, right? It's the same, we can tell if the DJ, for example, right? If the DJ plays 2 tracks and then he puts the crossfade in between so that 2 tracks play at the same time, and then he turns off one track and switches it to another track. Of course, you will hear some kind of glitch in the audio, right? At this point, because what else? What else can there be? So I think it should be fine. We can make, I think, yeah, the crossfade filter of 1 second maybe is a bit too high. We can give it 0.5. Also, we can play with, you know, if we put this to trail, and see the shape of this filter, we can play with it. So we can make it like a box, say. Yeah, you see that before it was more like exponential, now it's more, I believe it's more linear. Yeah, and you can see here, it doesn't have this like velocity, you know, it just, yeah, but this is also correct. See, if I just keep clicking on the same movie, it just restarts it all over again, and that's actually correct. And then, but here's the, here's an interesting bug actually, because if you keep clicking on the same movie, it will eventually be on the same deck. On both decks would be the same movie. But we have a rule that stops the movie from playing on the inactive deck. But in this particular case, this is the same movie in both decks. So when you stop it from playback on the inactive deck, it will also stop playing it on the active deck too. So that we need to fix. And to do it, we need to go here. We need to, on transition done, where our stop lives, and we need to add one condition. We need to add one quick check that it's not the same movie in both containers, because in this case we don't want to stop it actually. So we need to say part of eval. Let's just clean it up a little bit. So we're gonna say, I think we can maybe copy paste some stuff from over here. We can say, yeah, get plain clip. So clip, and then here we can say other clip, say get playing clip. In this case, in deck number 1, right? Because we care about deck B. And other clip equals get playing clip in deck 0. And then if clip not equals to other clip, clip par play value false. Right? Same thing we can do here. We can say the only thing we'll need to flip them around like this, 0, 1, and then we can also say okay, let's check if that works. Yeah, now you see I can restart it and it will never stop. In the meantime, if I do it like this, now it's stopped. So our logic works. Cool. So that's basically it, right? And then what I want to do from now, I want to optimize it a little bit, organize the code a bit better, use the annotations with the quick nav component that we did in the previous hour, just to organize it and to create like a tutorial out of it. So let me do this. Let me say file, save. And at this point, we're just gonna commit like a rough thing that we have. Boom, boom, boom. Yes. So now we're gonna say, let me actually see what we have there. SRC, video playback. We have git ignore, we have crossfader 1, we have crossfader toe, readme md. SRC, video playback, git ignore, crossfader. Okay, it looks like should be all good. Okay, git commit message. Let me see. Yeah, okay, everything's correct. Git commit message, finished. First implementation of crossfader technique, and we're gonna git push it. Okay, so now let's start cleaning up a little bit. And adding some comments. So we're gonna put let's drag and drop this component here. SRC meta release quick nav. Okay, that's done. Interesting, actually, I just realized something about this quick nav thing, is that when we're gonna restart TouchDesigner, it will delete all this thing that we have saved. So we need to be able to persist them, and in order to persist them, we need this table probably. But okay. So we'll start just by moving everything visually a little bit. So this would be our GUI part. We just add an annotation to it. Annotate. Is there some kind of shortcut to... Oh my god. I pressed every single button at the same time. Is there a shortcut to press this button? Like I want to edit it, text editable. How can I... Is there at least, I don't know, something that here happens? Oh man. E for edit, no? God damn it. Ah. Okay, so this is GUI part, just a simple layout of buttons with their viewer top set to correspond. Oh, come on, man. It has to be a better way to do it. Okay, I can at least do something like this. Take GUI. Set to corresponding. Just a simple layout of buttons with their viewer top set to corresponding movie clips. Okay, and I want this thing to have enclose operators, yes. Nice. So I want to move this somewhere, let's say here. Don't care about it for now. We don't care about this trail for now. No, actually we do care about this trail. Let me leave it. We see cross fader visualizer. I'm gonna add a quick annotate here. Crossfade previous. This node lets you see how the crossfader will work in you can play with probably filter type, something like this. Yes, type. Can play with type parameter of the crossfader filter to see the visualization of different transition types. Something like this, again, not final by any means, but something. Okay. Then I have to actually finish a bit like soon, in next half an hour, so I don't have time to maybe do everything that I want, but at least to some extent. Let's not, the code works for now. I mean, it's a bit ugly, but that's something I can make off stream. I will just do another iteration on it, and we'll change all of it to be in the extension. Let me just quickly explain to you. Before I said like extension would be better for many reasons. What I wanted, let me just clarify it a bit, so to say. The most important reason why the extension would be better is because, in this particular case, I mean, is because we have currently our logic is spread, you know, so we have a bit of logic here that talks about like clip launches and stuff like this. Then we have another bit of logic that lives here that reacts to, to starting the movies and stuff like this, stopping the movie, right, in particular. This is bad because you have to navigate through, imagine that we had like a more complex component, that we had like 7 or 8 of this executes. What it will mean is that we will have to jump between 9 different files to see the logic, you know, and plus we will have to duplicate some logic in multiple files. That's something that we already have. Like, for example, get playing clip is copy pasted between those 2 nodes. So instead, we should try to centralize all of it in one single place where all the logic for this component, for this crossfader component, will live, you know, and like that we can preserve internal state. We can have an API so that the outside world can interact with it, not knowing about the details that we will talk about in future streams. So that should be an extension, and off stream I will make it into extension, and I will upload the reviewed version of it to GitHub. So yeah, you can start the project on GitHub and you will see all the updates as I work on them. We can actually already start a to-do there too. So we go to CD and crossfader. Yeah, we already have it open actually. We can say to-do is change code to live in extensions. What else? Yeah, organized code, I think, would be part of the extension thing. For now, that's it. And in that README of the quick nav, this one, I need add a possibility to maintain, to have persistent, so that added nav points. Yeah, let's just say it like this. Add possibility to persist nav points across TD launches. So that actually we don't have to add that every time we launch the project. We have it stored already, and then when we launch the project, it will just let us do it. Maybe it will be some kind of external JSON file, or maybe we will keep it simple and would be just, because yeah, you cannot save it as a part of the tox itself. You can save it though as a part of your tow file. So maybe it will optionally let you specify some kind of like that, table that with the path to operators. And then it will use it. Something like this. Yeah, I'll have to think about it a bit. I'm not sure yet how exactly to do it, but yeah, that's okay for now. Now, yeah, so here's the crossfade previs. Here, this is the core of the idea, basically, these three components. This is the core. So I'll add another annotate comp here. I will find a better way to deal with this, and I will create more accurate descriptions off stream again. But this is the core of the idea. We only ever using two sources, and we crossfade between them, and then we use scripts and then we use scripts to be able to change clips on the fly. Something like this. Okay. Again, I will later on organize it as a sort of like step through tutorial, you know, so like we start here, we do this, this is, you know, so that it can be navigated more easily. This will be, there's some kind, I forgot, Control-Shift-C to add a comment or something like this. Let me try Control-Shift-C. Copy of pane one. No, it's not what I want. Add comment. Annotate. Alt. Box select. Shift A. Okay, so this one will say this is our crossfader. Anything that toggles between 0 and 1 will do. Important part is we're using filter chop to make our transitions smooth. Okay. Now this would be, yeah, basically our playback. It's like a small playback, script. Oops, not animation, annotation. Or playback script. Okay. and this will be our, yeah, this is just movies. I don't think we need to annotate anything here really. So something like this, and then I'm gonna save it, I'm gonna commit it. Oh no, not DS store. We should add it. No. Wait, that's not right. Wait, what? I don't know. Okay, so what I wanted to add is this DS store. I think it's called something like this. Yes, nice. Git difference. Yeah, git add dot git ignore, git commit message, modified git ignore to include Mac OS meta files. And now we add the tow file and saying that finished writing draft annotations for the network. Okay, so this we push, and now we just need to create a, like add some stuff to the README. We need to say change code to live in extensions. Make an more accurate annotations for the parts of the network. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that should be it. Yes, and provide a description of the crossfader project in this README. So basically about this, right? The description TBA. Okay. I think, let me push it to, right? Yes, I forgot to save it. Why my autosave doesn't work? I don't understand it. Edit to-dos. Okay, I think that's it for today. I would, yeah, take this this like cleanups and things that really take a long time, you know, to just make sure that everything is correct, that all the text is readable and understandable, you know, everything is clean, all the code is commented out, and have like don't have like silly copy pasted things that can be simplified, you know, and stuff like this. So that's really like a very long and boring process to look at. I think there's not so much like learning value in it. So I'll take it off stream, I will finish it, I will publish all of it. As I said, you can star the project on GitHub so that every time I update it, you will receive a notification in your on your starting page in GitHub, so you can track my progress on this repo. Yeah, and I'll see you next time. next stream I will announce it again, probably next Sunday, we'll see. Yeah, that's it, and thanks a lot for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.